Hey guys, Eric and Terry here. Game of Thrones is back at last.
I'm so excited.
It's pretty exciting. And so is our weekly Game of Thrones discussion show. So welcome back, or welcome for the first time. We are going to delve into full spoilers for The Red Woman. This is the season 6 premiere episode. So if you haven't seen it, you're about to get spoiled on it. And you don't want Game of Thrones spoilers, right?
I don't.
You don't. But we've seen it. Hope you have too. So let's go. And let's talk about the title of this episode and how it ended. What did you think of that sort of big physical reveal?
So the big reveal is Melisandre is actually like this centuries-old woman, and she's sort of been hiding what she looks like this whole time. And I think what's really interesting about this episode, looking across every character's storyline, is each of our main characters has been really humbled in some way. Mm-hmm. We have Arya, who's now blind, Daenerys, who's with the Dothraki again. Sansa and Theon have escaped, but really are sort of back to square one when they start off. And Melisandre is this character who had been so firm in her convictions. So for her to be at this point where she's like, Stannis is dead, she comes back, Jon is dead, this person who she was so sure she saw in the flames fighting at Winterfell. I feel like she's really humbled and really in a place we've never seen her before. So to see her completely disrobe, show her true self, only to us, I think really humanized her character and gave us so much more context for who she is, because going forward, we are always going to know that is who she is. We are always going to see her as at her weakest. And going back to the very beginning, we now have that context for who she is. How about for you?
Yeah, because she's this imposing, frightening character. She walks in, she's very intimidating. Obviously, has this severe air about her. She's beautiful, makes an impression. So you see her, not just the fact that she's physically ugly, but the fact that she seems so sort of broken. And we got that earlier in the episode, like you said. I mean, she was sort of backing the wrong horse, like when she realizes that Jon is dead, even though she was so sure about her visions, and that seems to really take the wind out of her sails. So to see her, let down her guard and really uncloak in every way possible there, because it was, I have to tell you, it's funny because when she took off her...
Did you roll your eyes? Because I was
my wife said, she always gets naked.
And me too. I had the same thought. And, I think that they really, across the board, they talked about how they took criticisms that this is the creators of the show, took criticisms of the show seriously. And one of them has been this exposition. So I had that moment where I was like, okay, Carice Van Houten is like the only main cast member who will get naked. But then it actually had like huge plot significance, and I thought that was worthwhile. Let's talk about that one line about how she was so sure she saw Jon fighting at Winterfell.
Right.
I think that's huge foreshadowing for this season, because yes, Jon Snow is dead. We see Jon Snow is a corpse this entire episode. He doesn't come back.
Kit Harington gave a performance of a lifetime.
Yeah, gave great corpse.
Yes.
But that line, I'm like, I think that the big arc for Melisandre this season is going to be her regaining her confidence, gaining some of that ground, coming into her own after being humbled. I think that might be the arc for a lot of characters. But I think she's going to end up bringing back Jon, resurrecting him, as we know the Red Priests have the power to do, going back to Beric Dondarrion. And I think at the end, we could get a revived Jon Snow fighting at Winterfell as she envisioned.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I don't know if it'll be this season, but I will say that...
Or maybe Endgame, you're right.
As someone who's very confident that, Jon Snow is dead right now, but that I'm very confident he'll be back one day in some way. I think her prophecy will be true, and it's just as a matter of when and where. This is Game of Thrones. Maybe she'll die without ever seeing it come true,
It's true.
But,
and I also think maybe she sacrifices herself
to help bring him back.
To come back to life. And that would be sort of borrowing a little bit from a big book storyline that they could just translate over to her and to this Jon Snow's arc.
Let me ask you, before we move on from Melisandre, let me ask you, you did say something about how she revealed herself as sort of centuries old. Do you think that was like explicit, that she's definitely like actually like this very, very, very old person, or could it just be she's sort of a witch and the idea that that's what she looks like?
I had a chance to talk to Liam Cunningham, who plays Davos, and he was the one who said to me she's hundreds of years old. So maybe that's more information that he knew that he wasn't supposed to say, or maybe that was just his interpretation. But yeah, that was the implication.
I do think, yeah, she's certainly older than she looks, and not just by 30 years, but yeah, probably very old. Because again, she's very powerful. Certainly, we've seen her do, there was still the shadow ghost baby thing
Right.
that she can make. But yeah, I did like the line about the things I've seen this woman do that Davos had.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly, she's probably been kicking around for quite a while.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Yeah. So that's our thoughts on Melisandre in this episode and all the reveals with her. What did you think? Let us know in the comments. What did you think about the reveal of her? Also, what do you think about this whole Jon Snow prophecy? And is she just wrong, or is she still right? And we're going to find that out.